Hello and welcome to my second Simpsons hit and run speedrun guide, this time for the last mission in March, 4-7 from outer space. No matter which strat you're gonna do, this first hit is always gonna be the same. You'll want to hit him head on and then do a turn to the left like this. So this is the retirement castle strat, definitely the easiest and the one I recommend most to newer runners. It's not the fastest, but it's a guaranteed way to make sure he doesn't go loose and you can get him dealt with quickly. Alright, let's break that down. So we have the first hit and the turnaround, and basically once he's about halfway down the road you can start gently pushing him, guide him between the tree and the sign, and then go in behind him and make sure you e-brake boost as you hit him back and forth, and then reset your car once he's dead. Sometimes something like this can happen where he just wants to move out, but there is a way to save it if you hit him back here so that he will start moving back and forth in that position. He will eventually destroy himself as long as you don't drive too far away, so you can just keep driving on your way. But I would not really recommend doing this because half the time he'll just get stuck like so and you'll have to destroy him very slowly, and that's not what you want. Alright, now let's move on to our second main strat, known as corner strat or bush strat, whatever you want to call it. It involves pushing him around this corner and getting him to 1 or 2 hits away, and it's pretty fast. Alright, breaking it back down from the beginning. First off, it's really important to have no traffic cars around here. At about this point, when he is starting to make the right turn, that's when you want to push him right into that corner there. At first it can be kind of an awkward timing to get used to, but once you understand how you want to position the canyon arrow and the way the truck turns, it definitely gets a lot easier. Okay, now let's talk about church strat. This is really easy. All you need to do is push him when he's halfway down this road and get him right into the church sign and he's dead. The only thing you really need to worry about is traffic, but this isn't really a fast strat at all because you have to drive a long way, but it's pretty reliable if you need some strat. Next we have the second corner strat, or a tree strat, I guess. I really don't recommend this one. It's like a harder version of the first corner strat, but I will go over it nonetheless. Once he's just about completed his right turn is when you want to start pushing him into the tree. But I would honestly rather go for the church strat personally. It's a lot easier and more consistent. Here's the last possible strat I guess you could do. Right up on the school sign, just push him when he's passing over the crosswalk. Pretty slow obviously, but it's there. Last but certainly not least is pull strat. This is the hardest strat to do, but the fastest. You just push him towards the left and guide him into the pole. It's harder than it looks, but you are able to easily grab that gas station vent, which would be there in a normal run. One thing I like to do is do a camera flick here so that my camera will be straight when I look forward again, and it just makes it easier to see what you're doing. So right about here, when the cola truck is about halfway across the grass on the right side, you do a gentle push into his back right wheel. Here it is again, bit slower. It is probably one of the hardest strats to get down, but you'll get a feel for it once you understand how long you have to hold on to him and when to let him go. So that'll wrap up everything for the first truck. I listed the strats by speed, fastest to slowest here, and here I listed difficulty from easiest to hardest. Now moving on to the second truck. For every strat, it's ideal most of the time to do it that first hit so you can get some damage on him. I'll show you the easiest and safest method first, but not the fastest. You just want to be on his right side and guide him so that he goes down here. Then you can leave him to like a couple hits from death and he will destroy himself, and resetting your car always will put you up here. Next, we'll go over the main strat, which a majority of runners do. It's not too difficult. What you want to do is when he's about to turn right into Burns' mansion, you start pushing him right into the corner. Depending on how much speed you had, he'll be 1 or 2 hits away. Here's a strat that not many people really do anymore, but still worth mentioning. You can time it so that you get him right at this gate, but it's quite hard, but I think it's quite fast, especially if you got it as quickly as I did here. Probably not much slower than the main strat. If he gets past the mansion, then he will almost always destroy himself on this wall entering the power plant area, or you can get him pinned up against that wall if he's not going to die from it. Now we have the last truck, which is probably the easiest of the three. When he turns right at that little bend in the road, you start pushing him, and ideally it'll look like this, and that's really the only strat for this. You really want to be mindful of traffic patterns here. This is the point where you start pushing him. Ideally you get him so he bounces off the fence like that, and when he's about to die, flick your camera back so that it despawns the truck and you don't need to reset your car or anything. If you miss the strat, the closest backup is getting him right up on the barn here. If you miss that, what you can do is kinda similar to pull strat, where you get him on the back right wheel so you can push him against this side of the barn, but it's quite awkward as you can see. If everything else has failed on you, you can get him right around this part of the fence. But obviously really slow, you have to go a long way for that. And that'll do it for my guide on 4.7. Thank you for watching. If you haven't seen my sellouts guide, I will put the link to that in the description.